In today's video, I'll uncover the truth about protein powder. Is it actually good for you? Do you need to be taking it? Or is it a dangerous supplement that should be avoided altogether? Hi, my name is Dr. Mark with a PhD in human nutrition and a nutrition coach that has been in this space for nearly 2 decades. And in my time, I've heard all sorts of claims about protein powder, ranging from it being a cure-all miracle product to claims that protein powder will ruin your kidneys and stay in your body for up to 3 years. Today, I'm going to tell you the truth about protein powder based on the scientific evidence. And not only that, by the end of this video, I will give you my recommendation on how much protein powder you should be consuming, if any at all. Let's begin with what is protein powder. Protein powder is simply isolated and powdered protein from whole food sources. For example, whey protein, which is going to be one of the most popular protein options out there, is created by taking cow's milk and removing the fat, the liquid, and other components of the milk, leaving an isolated and powdered form of the protein, which is going to be just the whey protein. And this is the exact same process done for other types of protein powders like hemp protein or pea protein. And then supplement companies are going to add in flavor or other additives to make it taste good, which nowadays range from classic vanilla and chocolate all the way to peppermint mocha. Yes, we've come a long way from protein powders that quite frankly tasted very gross. And not only does this come in powdered form, but supplement companies add the isolated protein to bars, ready-made shakes, and even protein cookies. We're starting to see it in chip form as well, which is pretty neat, huh? So that's the scoop on protein powder. But you may be thinking, why do I even need to take this stuff in the first place? Protein is an essential nutrient that everyone needs. It provides us with essential nutrients. We need amino acids and we need nitrogen. Protein is going to give us both of those, and some of those can only be found in food. And these amino acids do a wide range of things in our bodies, from immune function, muscle building and repair, hormone regulation, and much, much more. It's crucial to your health to get in adequate protein from a wide variety of sources that naturally occur in foods. Animal foods like milk products, meat, and eggs, as well as plant-based foods like quinoa, soy, and legumes. You can meet your protein requirements through a variety of whole food sources, but this does have limitations. For example, if you have weight loss or muscle building goals, or you may be busy and you need a more convenient and affordable way to consume protein. And this is where protein powder and supplements come in. But even knowing that protein powder comes from whole food sources, there's still a bunch of myths around taking it that paint protein supplements in a really bad light. So let's bust those quick. Number one, protein powder is going to be harmful to your kidneys. There is a pervasive myth online that eating a high protein diet is going to be harmful to your kidneys. The logic here is that since the kidneys filter out all waste and excess byproducts in your body, eating too much protein and the byproducts that it breaks down to is going to be way too stressful for your kidneys and eventually lead to kidney failure. The truth is, for those that have normal kidney function, a high protein diet within reasonable limits, which we're going to talk about in a second, is safe and supported by numerous studies. And this myth probably originated from people that had impaired kidney function that were told to reduce their protein intake. However, for healthy individuals that are consuming a moderate to high protein intake, we're talking 1.5 to 2.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, it's safe and shouldn't raise any concerns around your kidney health. Here's a second myth though, specifically around protein powder. Protein powder stays in your body for up to 3 years. This myth has been going viral since a Bollywood star said this in a recent interview.
Is that they're not good for health. Even protein shakes are really bad.
Can you elaborate?
It takes 3 years to digest 1 scoop of protein shake, by the way.
However, this is absolutely not the case. And if it was, we'd have a bunch of bodybuilders rolling across the stage like a character from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Protein powder is digested just like whole food sources in your body. So no need to worry about this myth, which strangely sounds like the exact same myth my mom used to tell me about swallowing my chewing gum. Don't worry about either of those. But those are the two main myths specifically about protein powder that I'm hearing right now. And for most of you, I would not worry about it. But there's one important consideration and point I want to make before we move on. A lot of people can be skeptical of the supplement industry in general due to lack of regulations, which is completely valid and something the supplement industry and regulatory bodies should do more about, which they are in a lot of cases through third-party testing. However, when it comes to supplements, protein powder is one of the safest you can consume. Since it's derived from whole foods, the actual isolated protein is completely safe to consume. Where it begins to get iffy is the additives a supplement company will add into their mixture textures for taste or added benefits. So if there are certain artificial sweeteners or additives or dyes that you're trying to avoid, do your best to be mindful of food labels and do your research before purchasing. Now let's talk about the specific benefits of adding a protein powder or supplement to your diet. First off, how much protein should you be eating? In general, as we talked about before, and this is going to depend on your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, but for most people, consuming between 1.5 to 2.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day is going to be helpful to reach your goals. And with that being said, taking a protein supplement can help you hit these overall daily totals. But I still would prioritize whole food protein sources when possible and make the following recommendations around supplements. For men, no more than 3 servings of supplemental protein on most days, and this includes powder, shakes, and bars. And for women, no more than 2 servings of supplemental protein on most days. Any more than that, and you start displacing out whole food protein sources that come with additional nutrients that you may find beneficial. With that in mind, let's start talking about benefits of eating more protein, starting with number 1, increased satiety. If you've ever dieted before, you've probably found yourself getting increasingly more hungry. Let's be real, that is no fun. Not only is being hungry for the sake of weight loss annoying and sort of miserable, but it's miserable because it makes it harder to stick to your diet long enough to see results. But eating more protein can solve this problem. Protein increases feelings of fullness because it takes longer to digest, which explains why when you eat a protein-packed breakfast of eggs, sausage, bacon, you feel stuffed for hours, instead of grabbing a couple pieces of toast as you run out the door, which will leave you hungry in just a few hours. This benefit is not only helpful for weight loss, but also just for an active, healthy lifestyle, because balancing your meals with more protein will help keep your blood sugar levels stable, which also leads us to benefit number 2, which is protein supports weight loss. If you're trying to lose weight, protein is going to be your best friend. Protein will help you keep fuller for longer, which is going to help manage your cravings and keep you on track. But eating more protein will help you stay in a calorie deficit as well. Protein powders specifically are quite lean and low in calories, meaning you can eat more of them and prioritize them and still lose weight. When you couple the low calorie content of protein and the increased satiety, you're going to have the recipe for weight loss success. And speaking of recipes, there are many traditional recipes that you can add protein powder to increase the taste, like protein pancakes, muffins, ice cream, and even brownies. Having all these protein options available makes it easy to hit your protein goals, increase your satiety, and stay on track while losing weight. Now, protein can support weight loss in a few other non-direct ways, specifically gaining muscle and creating new muscle tissue, as well as retaining the muscle you already do have, which is going to keep your metabolism higher so you can burn more calories, leading us to benefit number 3, which is muscle building. This is protein's claim to fame, and for good reason. Protein helps you recover and grow muscle after exercise. And by adding protein powder to your diet, you can hit your protein goals more effectively, making sure all of that hard work you do in the gym does not go to waste. But even if you don't want to be a professional bodybuilder here and gain a bunch of muscle like our pal Jay Cutler, increasing the muscle mass you do have benefits everyone, specifically as you age. For starters, having more muscle increases the amount of calories you burn every day, which is helpful for weight maintenance as well as weight loss. And having more muscle mass keeps you healthier as you age, increases mobility, decreases the risk of falls, as well as a long list of other benefits. And this is only going to happen if you resistance train and eat enough protein, which may only occur if you supplement to hit your protein targets. Now let's move on to benefit number 4, which is increased recovery and boosted immunity. So we already talked about how protein helps us build muscle, but it also helps us recover faster after exercise and recover from injury. If you find yourself constantly sore after a workout or lethargic for days after a tough training session, you would benefit from increasing your protein intake, namely coming from protein powder. And this just isn't because of the increase in the total amount of protein you're consuming. It's because some of the active components in protein supplements boost your immunity and recovery more than adequate protein alone. This stuff is literally a superfood, and we're only now beginning to realize it. Now, of course, there are other elements that go into recovery and immunity, like hydration and sleep. However, getting adequate protein and some of the other benefits that come from consuming protein powder will decrease your recovery time, lower your risk of catching an illness, or decrease the severity of that illness. Now let's move on to the last benefit of protein powder, specifically whey protein powders, which is going to be increased heart health. I know, who knew protein powder was good at so many things? But now there's significant evidence that protein, specifically whey protein, lowers your risk of heart disease and your LDL cholesterol by number one, increasing your muscle mass, by burning more calories, keeping your blood sugar in check. But furthermore, whey protein specifically has been shown to lower LDL cholesterol, total cholesterol, as well as blood pressure. And that's it, folks. Those are the benefits of increasing your protein intake, specifically coming from protein powders. And honestly, this list can go on forever, and we're just beginning to scratch the surface on how important this stuff is. Two quick caveats you want to keep in mind when choosing a protein powder. Number one, you want to check the label for the calorie content. Isolated protein itself is going to be low in calories, but companies may add in added sugar for taste, or you may end up taking a weight gainer instead of a whey protein supplement. Or if you're lactose intolerant, you may want to stay away from whey, casein, or other dairy-derived proteins. Luckily for you, there are many more options out there now. There's beef isolate, there's pea protein, so you're not going to be left out and you're still going to have all the benefits. And that's it, folks. Protein powders are good for you, and I hope you learned something new today. Now, as great as all those tips are, if you're really serious about starting a nutrition coaching business, the next thing I'm going to have you do is check out this video I've linked up right here. Today, we learned all about protein powder. Next, I want to share with you the best protein foods to consume while in a calorie deficit. So make sure to check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.